Today we're talking about your dirty little secret. And no, I'm not talking about the one weird fetish you stumbled upon. I'm talking about the fact that you've become so addicted to watching other people have sex that you can't function like a normal human being anymore. Yeah, you, Mr. I'm just going to browse for a minute, who ends up 3 hours deep into some rabbit hole you can't even explain. You're out here living like a digital goblin, lighting up that screen at 2 a.m. while eating Cheetos with one hand, and you wonder why your life is going nowhere. Let me paint a picture of your life. You wake up, and what's the first thing you do? Check your phone, right? But you're not checking messages or news. No. You're checking other stuff. Just gonna scroll Reddit for a sec. Yeah, sure, buddy. We know which subreddits you're on. Then you drag yourself out of bed, probably after round 1, let's be honest. And you go about your day pretending to be a functional adult. You're at work or school and someone attractive walks by, but can you talk to them? Can you make normal eye contact and have a conversation like a regular human being? Of course not. You're sweating through your shirt. Your brain is short-circuiting. You're standing there like a malfunctioning robot going, hi, weather, good. Meanwhile, Chad over there is having a normal conversation because his brain isn't completely fried from watching 47 different videos before breakfast. Lunch break hits. Where do you go? To the bathroom. For what? Just checking my phone. In a stall. Like a gremlin. Bro, everyone knows what you're doing. Nobody goes to the bathroom for 20 minutes to check emails. Then you get home. This is it. This is when you're gonna turn your life around, right? Gym time, study time, productive time. Wrong. You sit down. Just gonna relax for 5 minutes? Open the laptop. Incognito mode like you're Jason Bourne. And suddenly it's 1 a.m., you've accomplished nothing, and you feel like a sentient pile of garbage. And here's the best part. You do this every single day. You're like a hamster on a wheel, except the wheel is shame and you're running in circles covered in Cheeto dust. Let's talk about what's happening inside that skull of yours. And spoiler alert, it ain't pretty. Your brain used to be this magnificent machine, capable of learning, creating, connecting with people. Now, it's basically a broken slot machine that only pays out for one thing. Here's how you broke it. Normal human brain. Oh, I accomplished something. Small dopamine reward. I feel good. Your brain. Oh, pixels on screen. Dump all the dopamine. Dump it more. You've turned your brain into a dopamine junkie. And like any junkie, you need bigger hits to feel anything. Remember when normal stuff used to excite you? When you'd see something attractive and be like, oh, that's nice. Yeah, those days are gone. Now you need increasingly weird, increasingly specific, increasingly, wait, why did I click on this content just to feel something? You're out here escalating like you're trying to speed run degeneracy. Started with normal stuff, then it wasn't enough, so you went weirder. Then that wasn't enough. And now you're 3 clicks away from content that would make a therapist retire. And the funniest part? You tell yourself you're just exploring or just curious. No, bro, you're not a sexual explorer. You're an addict chasing a high you can't reach anymore. Your brain's dopamine receptors are so fried, they're basically a burnt pizza at this point. Nothing normal excites you anymore. Real women? Boring. Your hobbies? Meh. Your goals? Who cares? The only thing that gets you going is opening that laptop and diving back into your digital hellscape. Congratulations, you've literally rewired your brain to prefer fake people on a screen over real life. You're like a pigeon that learned to peck a button for food, except you can't stop pecking even when you're not hungry anymore. You're just pecking forever. Sad little pigeon. Now let's talk about your social skills. Or should I say, your complete lack of social skills. You can't talk to women, like at all. And you know what's hilarious? You blame everything except the actual problem. I'm just shy. No, you're not. Women don't like nice guys. That's not it either. I'm not tall enough. Dude, short guys get girlfriends. Your height isn't the problem. You know what the problem is? You've spent so much time in your room watching other people have sex that you've forgotten how to be a normal human being around the opposite sex. You've watched thousands of hours of content where nobody has to have a conversation, nobody has to be interesting, nobody has to put in any effort, everything just happens. So when you're faced with an actual woman who you have to talk to, your brain is like, wait, this isn't the script. Where's the script? Why isn't this working like the videos? You stand there sweating, making weird comments, probably staring at the wrong places because you've trained yourself to see women as objects, not people. And they can tell. Women have a sixth sense for guys who are weird around them. It's like a creep radar. You walk up, they immediately know, oh, this guy spends way too much time alone. You can't make normal eye contact because you're either staring at the ground or staring at other places. There's no in-between. You try to make conversation, but it's awkward because your brain has literally forgotten how human interaction works. So, you like stuff. Smooth, Romeo. Real smooth. Meanwhile, normal guys who haven't destroyed their social skills, are having regular conversations, making connections, actually living life. And you're going home alone to your laptop, again. And here's the really pathetic part. You've created a self-fulfilling prophecy. You can't talk to women, so you retreat to porn. Porn makes you worse at talking to women, so you retreat more to porn, and the cycle continues. You're basically speedrunning becoming undateable. At this rate, you're going to be 40 years old, living alone, wondering why you never found anyone. I'll tell you why, because you chose pixels over people, every single time. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the deflated balloon in the room. You can't perform with real women. Oh, you can perform just fine with your laptop, with your hand, with your little digital harem. But put you in a room with an actual human female and suddenly nothing, nada, zip. You're out here like a car that only starts when you jiggle the key in a very specific way. And you know what makes it even more embarrassing. You're probably in your 20s. Your 20s? You're supposed to be in your prime. You should be able to get excited by a stiff breeze. But no, you've watched so much content that your brain literally doesn't recognize real intimacy as arousing anymore. Your brain is like, where's the HD? Where's the perfect lighting? Where's the option to switch to a different person? This isn't working for me. So you panic, which makes it worse, which makes you panic more. And then you go home and guess what you do? You go right back to porn to make sure everything still works. Oh, good. It works with the screen. Must just be nerves with real people. No, genius. It's not nerves. It's the fact that you've literally trained your body to only respond to digital stimulation. You're like Pavlov's dog, except instead of salivating at a bell, you only get excited for a laptop screen. And let's talk about your stamina, or lack thereof. You've trained yourself for speed. Click, watch, finish, panic close 73 tabs in 0.3 seconds. The whole operation takes what, 10 minutes max? And that's if you're taking your time. Then you wonder why you can't last with a real partner. Buddy, you've given yourself the sexual endurance of a microwave, quick and disappointing. And before you ask, yes, this can be fixed, but you're not going to fix it by doing the same thing over and over. You're not going to practice your way out of it by watching more content. That's like trying to cure alcoholism by drinking more. You're just making it worse, you absolute donut. Let's talk about that beautiful moment right after you finish. You know the one. That instant where you suddenly regain consciousness and realize you've just wasted another hour of your life. Post-nut clarity hits you like a freight train of regret. You look at the screen. You look at yourself. You think, what am I doing with my life? You feel disgusting, pathetic, weak. You close all 47 tabs in a panic like you're destroying evidence at a crime scene. That's it. Never again. I'm done. Tomorrow I'm a new person. Tomorrow I'm going to change everything. You take a shower. You feel motivated. You make promises to yourself. I'm going to work out. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to talk to that girl. I'm going to be better. And what happens tomorrow? You do the exact same thing. You lasted what, 6 hours? Maybe a day if you're really disciplined? But I was stressed. Yeah, so you dealt with stress by making yourself feel worse. Smart. But I was bored. So you chose the most boring, unproductive activity possible. Great choice. But I couldn't sleep. So you flooded your brain with stimulation right before bed. Genius level thinking there. You're trapped in a cycle. And it's honestly kind of hilarious how predictable you are. Feel bad. Watch porn. Feel worse. Promise to change. Do nothing. Feel bad. Watch porn. You're like a sad little merry-go-round of failure. And the best part, every time you fail, you feel weaker, more pathetic, more convinced you can't control yourself. You're literally training yourself to be weak-willed. You're not building discipline. You're building the opposite of discipline. You're becoming the kind of person who can't resist any urge, can't delay any gratification, can't do anything hard. And that weakness, it bleeds into every other part of your life. Can't resist porn. You probably also can't resist junk food, can't wake up early, can't stick to a workout routine, can't finish projects. You're training yourself to be a quitter in every aspect of life. Congratulations, you're speed running mediocrity. Let's do some fun math. How much time do you spend watching porn? Be honest, 30 minutes a day? An hour? Multiple sessions? Let's be conservative and say 30 minutes a day. That's 3.5 hours a week, 182 hours a year. You're spending 7.5 days every year staring at a screen, accomplishing absolutely nothing. An hour a day? That's 15 days a year, 2 full weeks. Multiple times a day? Dude, you've lost months of your life to this. Now imagine if you'd spent that time literally doing anything else. Working out? You'd be jacked. Learning a skill? You'd be competent at something valuable. Building a business? You'd have income. Meeting people? You'd have real relationships. Reading? You'd be knowledgeable. Literally sleeping would be more productive because at least you'd be rested. But no, you chose to spend that time watching other people live life while you sit in the dark. You're like an NPC watching the main characters while you do nothing. And here's what really gets me. You have dreams, right? Goals? Things you want to accomplish? I want to get in shape. Cool. Where's the gym time? I want to start a business. Cool. Where's the work? I want to find someone. Cool. Where's the social skills practice? Oh, wait. You spent all that time training your brain to only get excited for a screen. You traded your potential for pixels. You traded your future for a temporary dopamine hit that you won't even remember tomorrow. You traded becoming someone impressive for being someone forgettable. And the saddest part? You know you're capable of more. That's why you feel like garbage afterwards. Your brain knows. This isn't who you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be out there doing things, building things, becoming someone. Instead, you're sitting in a dark room, covered in shame and Cheeto dust, wondering why life isn't working out. Life isn't working out because you're not working. You're watching. All right, enough roasting. Let's talk about what happens when you actually get your life together. And no, I'm not going to tell you that you'll become a millionaire alpha wolf who can fly and shoot lasers from your eyes. But here's what actually happens when you stop. Week 1, you're going to be miserable, irritable, anxious, bored out of your mind. Your brain is going to throw a tantrum like a toddler whose iPad died. But I'm bored! Good, be bored. Learn to sit with discomfort. Week 2, brain fog starts clearing. You start noticing you have energy you didn't have before. Probably because you're not staying up until 3 a.m. in shame spirals. Week 3 to 4, you start noticing real people again, like actually seeing them as humans. Crazy concept, I know. Month 2, conversations get easier. You can make eye contact without sweating through your shirt. You might even have a normal interaction with someone attractive, wild. Month 3, you realize you have actual time now. All those hours you wasted, suddenly available? You could learn something, build something, become someone. Your confidence is different. Not because you're alpha now, but because you're not constantly carrying around secret shame. You feel like a regular person instead of a goblin hiding a dark secret. Does your life become perfect? No, you still have to put in work. But at least now you're capable of putting in work. Your brain isn't sabotaging you 24/7. All right, here's the part where I challenge you to actually do something. 90 days, no porn, 0, none, nada. But what about no? Can I just no? What if I only no nothing? Complete digital celibacy. Can you do it? Honestly, probably not. Most of you are already making excuses. 90 days is too long. Cool, so you can't go 3 months without watching other people have sex. That's totally normal and not concerning at all. But everyone watches porn. Yeah, and everyone's also broke, out of shape, and lonely. Should we aspire to average? It's not even a real addiction. Then quit. Right now. Should be easy. Here's the truth. If you can't do 90 days, that proves you have a problem. Normal behaviors don't become impossible to stop for 90 days. You could quit social media for 90 days. You could quit coffee. You could quit video games. But porn? Nah, that's where you draw the line. That's how you know it's got you by the balls, metaphorically and literally. So here's my challenge. Prove me wrong. Do the 90 days. Track what happens. See if your life improves. I'm betting you won't make it past week 1. I'm betting you'll quit, tell yourself it wasn't that bad anyway, and go right back to your digital cave. But hey, maybe you'll surprise me. Maybe you'll actually be one of the few people who decides to stop being pathetic. Wouldn't that be something? All right, that's all I got. If this video pissed you off, good. You probably needed to hear it. If you're sitting there angry at me, ask yourself, are you angry at me? Or are you angry because you know I'm right? Real bro science is about telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Subscribe if you can handle more uncomfortable truths delivered with maximum disrespect. Drop a comment if you're actually going to take the challenge. Put your ego on the line. And hey, if you fail, which you probably will, at least you tried. That's more than most of you digital goblins can say. Trust the science, bro. And maybe trust yourself a little less, because clearly you can't be trusted alone with a laptop. See you next week, if you make it that long without your precious screen time.